Haley's been sort of riding this line of like not bringing up her ethnic background or in very select ways, and not bringing up the fact that she's Indian, while saying that the U.S. isn't racist, saying the Civil War wasn't fought over slavery, but then, oh, wait, it was. And then you have Trump like poking fun at her name, her birth name, this like wink and a nod to his base. She wants it both ways, right? She wants, and yet also very proud of being a woman, really into the like,
yes, yes.
Cheney in high heels, as Vivek called her. But like, explain this line that she's riding, and can she actually have it both ways in the Republican Party, and even as a woman?
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, it's very interesting. I mean, it's partially like who Haley is appealing to, because if you look at it, she's appealing to sort of college-educated Republicans and Republicans who, like, most likely voted for Donald Trump twice, but like are kind of like a little bit queasy, like some of his tweets are mean. They wish he was like, less vulgar in his racism and his sexism. And so she's like, like offering a kinder, like Bush Senior, a kinder, gentler Republicanism, and being a woman and being like a person of color is part of that. But it's not like, she doesn't even need to emphasize it. It's just like, I'm proof that the American dream is real, that Republicans, and also that Republicans aren't racist. Like in every presidential primary going back the last 20 years, you have a period where some person of color, whether it's like Alan Keyes or Herman Cain or Ben Carson, they enjoy a bubble, and they enjoy a period of success because they are seen as like, oh, proof, we're not a racist party, right? We have this person of color, and they offer this sort of like narrative of upward mobility, like, I'm proof that America, not only Republican Party's not racist, America's not racist. Look, I've succeeded. And that's implicitly a kind of critique of like, other people of color, to say, well, like, the ones that didn't make it, it's just because really they're losers, right? Like they don't have what it takes.
They didn't work hard enough.
And that it's all exactly. So like, yeah, I think that's an appealing message. I don't think it's enough to overcome Trump. And the thing is, Trump can always like, like we see how limited it is because Trump can always pull out the racism, right? Like when Ben Carson was the only Republican who ever led was ahead of Trump for any period. But then Trump just started talking about like, well, this guy, like there's a story, he used a knife, and like Ben Carson's the gentlest, most innocuous person imaginable. But Trump, once you remind Republicans, this is actually like, this person is actually not like you. That's their birth name is kind of
right, and they're a punchline, really. Yeah. I mean, and I think and even so, Nikki's tack against Trump is very much adversarial, or let me, to the extent that honestly any Republican primary challenger has been adversarial. You could argue she's been the most. Yeah. But then you have the complete opposite. You've got Vivek Ramaswamy, who is the ultimate bootlicker, and you talk about him in your piece, and you talk, I think, more interestingly about the fact that he's Hindu, and but yet his extremist rhetoric feels even more Christian nationalist than Nikki Haley, who were converted to Christianity. So talk about Vivek and like his little play here.
Yeah, no. Ramaswamy is very interesting because prior to him, like all the Republicans who of South Asian descent who had success were really converts, right? Like like Bobby Jindal and Nikki Haley, both like governors of like southern states, but they were the converts to Christianity, so could be seen as one of them. But Ramaswamy is running. Like as an open ran as an open Hindu, but also on the idea of like, I'm more Trump than Trump, right? His basic pitch was like, like, I'm gonna give you everything Trump does, but I'm younger. And like,
and I'll sing the lyrics to "Lose Yourself."
But like I'm a tech boss who tells it like it is, and but like he didn't convert. And I think that's very interesting. But he fashioned his Hindu identity as being exactly the same. He basically said, as a Hindu, I believe in all the things that you guys in the evangelical church do. I hate trans people too. I don't want gay marriage. I don't want. And I mean, he hasn't gone as far as Haley did, but he did enjoy some period of success. And it's a very interesting pitch. And in some ways, he leaned into his Indian identity I mean, even beyond the Hindu stuff, like he really played up all the stereotypes, Like
Yes.
I'm the math guy, I'm the guy from Silicon Valley,
Yes, I'm the
yes,
creative tech entrepreneur. I mean, like, yeah, Andrew Yang is very much like, that was my thing to be. Like, the two of them are so similar in this, like, I'm this safe, nerdy model minority who made it out. And like, look, I make fun of myself. I've got hats that say math. Like, I literally think that Andrew Yang's presidential campaign was like one of the most racist pieces of shit I've ever seen against Asians. Like, so like, it's like there's a
yeah,
part of you, and maybe you feel this way too when you like watch
yeah.
folks just make utter clowns of themselves using like total stereotypes. It's just like, like you just, it's so disgusting. Like,
Well, I
I'll be
mean,
your little brown best friend,
that's exactly what it is, and it is a kind of yeah. I mean, it's a way of using humor to cater to white supremacy and
Yes.
say like it's okay. You can make all the jokes of Apu. I love the same jokes, and yeah. But I think Ramaswamy
Which he
represents
did.
something new and interesting. Like he represents like a type of not a convert, not like Jindal or Haley of like it's a the Indianness is the default or is kind of in the background. Like just very explicitly, I'm a brown Indian guy and I'm a total Trump Republican. I
Yeah.
think that's very interesting, and I think that in some ways it does actually play to a minority, but like a sizable minority within the sort of Indian diaspora in the United States. I mean, 70% of like people of Indian descent voted for Biden in
Right.
2020, but that meant like 30% didn't, and those who didn't like share a lot of Ramaswamy's sort of profile. They're very much into like sort of like meritocracy success. They're very hostile to programs to help African Americans or Latinos. They have a religious identity that converges with sort of like the American religious right. Like they also coming out of their view of Hinduism are hostile to LGBTQ issues. So yeah, I mean, I think that like Ramaswamy is not a total fake. Like he is actually
Yeah.
playing to something that is like authentic to his cohort of people.
What's going on, Frantifa? If you haven't already, subscribe to this channel right now. Hit that button. And also, you can become a patron and support the show every single week. Get access to bonus episodes and exclusive merchandise. Patreon.com/Bitchuation Room. Do it.